When people think about old HP Elitedesks or Prodesks, they probably have one of three form factors in mind: micro tower, small form factor, or mini, sometimes referred to as micro. But some of the older HP models actually came in sort of a half size between mini and small form factor. A half size that seems to have been lost in history. Which, if you saw my last video, you might be worried that the OptiPlex mod will be lost in history. Don't panic! It's taking a bit longer than expected because I came up with a bit of a scheme that I'm gonna try. Alright, calm down. Anyway, I decided to make a quick video in the meantime on the mysterious forgotten form factor of old Elitedesks and Prodesks. And by the way, are the Prodesk 600s and Elitedesk 800s just the same or what? They seem completely identical. I don't really know, but I think we have Detective Goodmonkey on the case. At least I think he was planning something along those lines. If not, check him out anyway. But I'm rambling on too much because I have a horrible attention span. So let's continue. This is the USDT, or Ultra Small Desktop form factor. Not to be confused with the USCD, which of course is the Ultra Sweet Chair Desk. This size of PC is also sometimes referred to as the Ultra Slim form factor or the Ultra Small form factor. USFF in either case. And those different names do tend to cause some confusion, not just because they're used interchangeably for different models, but also because they're sometimes incorrectly applied to the mini and micro PCs. Now, this model specifically is the Elitedesk 800 G1, and from what I've seen, it appears that the G1 generation is the only generation where they offered this form factor. But there was also another line of older HP computers that came in a nearly identical size. These were the HP Compaq Elite 8100, 8200, and 8300. That, because of my eBay addiction, I mean enthusiast purchasing, I have one to model for you. As you can see, these are nearly identical in size. They're the same sort of half-size form factor between mini and small form factor. Quick side note, when I got these on eBay, they were really cheap, and depending on the specs, are pretty solid for retro emulation, if you're into like building your own systems for that. Alright, so what are the main differences and potential benefits of this weird, mostly lost form factor? Once again, for your reference, here is the mini size compared to the USDT. And one of the main differences you'll notice right away is the optical drive, which I believe during that time period, that was probably one of the main reasons they made this size. All of the Compaq models seem to have an optical drive, and with the Prodesk and Elitedesks, it seems like it was optional. And that difference also explains why this form factor has mostly disappeared, as optical drives aren't really that necessary or desirable anymore, especially for someone who's looking specifically for a smaller and more compact computer. Aside from that, the specs are mostly similar, except for one other feature that is actually pretty significant, and that's the variation of CPU that the ultra small desktops could hold. From what I've seen, there's at least a few of these half-size PCs that can hold the S variation of an Intel processor. That's an important difference because these micro PCs can usually only hold the T variation, at least in these older models. The T variation in these minis uses less electricity, but is generally a less powerful CPU. On the other hand, the S variation may have a lower base clock rate, but reaches the same turbo boost speed as a standard desktop CPU. The ability of the ultra-small desktop PCs to hold those specific processors offered users a computer that was both very compact, but also functionally as powerful as a larger standard desktop desktop computer. Both the mini and ultra slim PCs used a power brick like this, and they both utilize the exact same connector, but depending on what kind of processor you're running, you might need a more powerful power supply. Now, while I personally haven't been able to compare every variation of every model, for example, this is a 600 G1 and this is an 800 G1, those do seem to be the primary differences. And as far as the differences between this and the standard small form factor, they're pretty obvious, just the stuff you would think. For example, the standard small form factor desktop has full-sized RAM, whereas the USDT runs SODIMM, and the SFF has PCIe expansion slots as well as an internal power supply as opposed to the power brick that the smaller form uses. Anyway, that is all for this video. I hope some of you maybe found it interesting. And like I mentioned, I'm still working on the other OptiPlex modification video. If you're interested in that, keep an eye out. And aside from that, thank you for watching. I really appreciate everyone tuning in. That is all. See you later.